What is going on, everybody? It's Jason with Sweat and Sacrifice. I hope you all had an awesome 4th. Set off a lot of fireworks, drank a lot of brews, had a good time. So this is going to be a 2-part video on how to take down, clean, and reassemble the Glock 19 Gen 5. So the first video will be the upper, and the second video will be the lower. So let's get into it. So if you may or may not have seen this before, this is my Glock 19 Gen 5. As I've stated before, this is ridiculously modified. The only thing that's not aftermarket on this weapon is the slide and the grip. Every other part in this gun has been swapped out, and I absolutely love it. It is a remarkable pistol. But that's for another video. I'm hoping in the not too distant future to get some live fire videos and kind of give you guys some comparisons and all that other hoopla. But so rule number 1: make sure the gun is safe, empty, mag is out with no ammunition in it. We definitely don't want any accidents happening. So if you're unaware of how to take down your Glock or most other pistols for that matter, so you're going to fire off and fire off. You're going to decock. And you're going to, on each side of the pistol, you got this takedown lever right here. Push that down, let go of the slide, off it comes. Easy peasy. So here you've got our return spring, our barrel, our safety plunger, our firing pin, our ejector, and that is about all that consists of the upper. So let's go ahead and take this down. This is a tungsten firing pin. I mean, they say that the added weight of the tungsten firing pin helps to bring the muzzle down faster after recoil. Maybe not. I mean, it's definitely heavier. I mean, no doubt. It's way heavier than the stock plastic guide rod, but yeah, whatever. This is an Agency Arms. This is their, I guess, middle of the road barrel. It's not, not the high end. It's not the dirt cheap one either. Picked this up from Armor Up. Check out Armor Up and build Armor Up. Great dude, great shop. He'll hook you up with whatever you need. Check out armorup.us on Instagram. Hit him up and he'll take care of you. So this is, I actually cleaned this not that long ago, but we're gonna rip through it again just for video's sake. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to remove the back plate. Removing the back plate is going to give us access to the firing pin. So what I did was I picked up myself one of these tools here. This is a dual purpose tool. This allows me to remove the base plates from the magazines, as well as a punch down tool functionality to get the pins out. But this also we will use to disengage the firing pin so that we can get this back plate off. If you can see, there's a little black plastic piece right there. What we're going to do is we're going to push that down, and that's going to allow us to slide this cap off. Don't bother trying to get this cap off without pushing this down. You're going to wreck your gun. Push that down, and that slid right off. Now, when you slide that out, when you slide this off, make sure you keep your thumb over top of the back plate, because there is a tension spring under there, and if you just go ahead and fire that off, the baby's going to ricochet out of there, and you're going to be calling somebody for new parts, and we don't want that. So we'll go ahead and move our firing pin and our extracting rod and spring, and that leaves us with our safety plunger and our extractor. Now the extractor will fall right out by depressing the safety plunger. So what we'll do is give that a press. I'll try to, oh, there that goes. I think I caught it in my legs. Kind of. Hang tight. I'm back. Okay. Now, the stock safety plunger, and this one's coated in titanium. The stock safety plunger, they both have springs in them. But the aftermarket one, the spring will not stay in there, will not hold. The original one will kind of twist in there and locks in there, and you can drop it down and it'll stay in there. So if you happen to have the aftermarket titanium coated plunger in there, when you take this out of there, make sure you don't just let this thing plop out, because you can see this. That thing is tiny, and there's an excellent chance you will never see it again if that thing takes off. Okay, so, well, you know what? I wasn't going to take down the firing pin all the way, but what the hell, right? I guess we can do that. Make sure you keep everything together, nuts, bolts, and all the other hoopla. Make sure you put the spring back in with the safety plunger. Ooh, easy. Easy there. Alright. Oops, sorry. So, what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to depress this spring, and this is this coupler here there's two halves, and those two halves are held together by the tension of the spring. So we got to depress the spring, then this is a clamshell, this will come out, and then the spring can come up. And the easiest way for you to achieve that is to use your slide as your third hand. So you can take your slide and just drop it in backwards. That's going to hold your firing pin for you. What that's going to allow you to do is to push this down and grab this out without having trying to balance this thing on the bottom. So you go ahead and pull that down. I don't know if you saw that, but that just fell right apart. Again, hold on to that spring, because if you let it go, she is gonna fly. You gotta pull that spring off. The spring is bi-directional. Doesn't matter which way it comes off, goes on, as long as you don't forget to put it back on. And we've got our sleeve, and we're going to pull that off. Now this is a titanium coated lightweight firing pin. You can see it's got the porting in it to drop the weight, but what it also has is an extended firing pin. Because of the lightweight, you have less mass, less force striking the primer. That extended firing pin kind of makes up for the lack of weight. I haven't had a failure with this firing pin since I've started using it. I definitely recommend it. I think I picked this up at Glock store. All my parts are either picked up at Glock store or Armor Up. That's where I picked up everything, and I have zero complaints about any of the parts that I've chosen to put in here. I think it's safe to. I got a lot of rounds with this gun, so I mean, anything that I'm using, feel free to ask me if you want to know specifics, and I'll let you know. But go for it. So we got that torn down. Don't lose your coupling. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to get our solvent, Q-tip, give that a dip, and you're just going to run this through all the channels. Anywhere where you're going to get that build up. All through here, through these channels, firing pin face, all in where the extractor sits and the plunger sits. You can get all in there. And I didn't clean this that long ago, but you can see there's still some gunk in there. But just kind of run that down. I'll let that sit for a minute. Now, when you put this back together, don't put any lube in the firing pin chamber, because what that's going to do is that lube is going to end up getting thick and gummy, and it's going to attract all the dust, dirt, and grime, and you're going to end up getting malfunctions. So just clean it out. You can run some solvent through there if you want to clean it out, but then run the dry Q-tip through, get it all out of there, and that's all you need. Do not put lubricant in there. So we'll move on to our barrel. What we're going to do here is we're going to grab a wire brush. Now, I know rule of thumb is to not dip your wire brush in the solvent, but doesn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll go through now. When you go through, I'm going to go straight up and straight down. You don't want to twist this as it goes through. Just straight up and straight down. You want to do this 10 to 15 times. You should probably not be wearing a white shirt while I'm doing this. We'll try to be careful. Shirt courtesy of Armor Up. Thank you, Bill. Alright, that's good for now. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. And you know what I didn't get? Hang tight. Okay, I'm back. Rag. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our slide upper. We're going to quick hit it with our steel brush just to get any gunk out of there. You don't have to go crazy. I mean, unless this thing is super dirty, you don't need to go nuts. Give it a couple quick hits. Enough to where you feel confident that the dirt's loose. And then grab yourself a couple clean Q-tips and just get in all the grooves. Get everything nice and good. Get in the plunger port, the extractor port. Give the firing pin chamber a couple swipes, and then we'll come in here with our rag. We'll just give it a good wipe down. Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident about that. Okay. Next, what we're going to do, now that the barrel's been sitting for a couple minutes, we are going to go ahead and run some clean cotton squares through it. A couple of these cats right here, they come with your kit. this through. I'm going to hit that 2, 3, 4 times, whatever it takes, until there's almost or no dirt on the end. And we're going to hit that one more time, but what we're going to hit it with is a little bit of lubricant. Make sure you're using gun oil, not just some crap you found in your drawer. It's not going to work, and it won't end well for you. So spend a couple extra pennies and get yourself legit gun oil. Around there, we'll go straight through. Get this all nice and lubed up. And that's also going to pick up whatever remaining dirt you got in there. Rocking. Alright. Next, let's move on to getting the firing pin back together. So we got our pin. If this is dirty, take your rag, give it a couple wipes. Don't lube it. Same thing, the same way you took it off, you're going to put it back on. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to use the spring, the firing pin spring, or I'm sorry, the slide to get the firing pin spring back on. So you can slide that down and you can pull the firing pin up. And now is the part where I generally swear a few times. Because these little couplers, they don't like to stay. They don't like to stay at all. Ooh, we might get her. I've done this now the second time on video. The first time I got it on the first shot. This thing here, make sure the wide end of the collar is facing up. And there you go. And that is your reassembled firing pin. Again, make sure the sleeve of that coupler is underneath the, well, it can only go on one way. You can't put it on backwards, otherwise it'll just blow apart. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this baby dropped back in, and as you would assume, reassembly is the same as disassembly. Believe it or not. Sometimes I always mix this part up. Is it plunger first or firing pin first? Well, we'll figure it out. Let's go with plunger first. So we'll drop in our, actually, we're going to drop in our plunger. Now this also is keyed, can only go on one way. Sorry if I'm kind of jacked up on the screen here. Oh, I got it the first time. Incredible. So, this plunger works in unison with the extractor. So to operate this, you're going to push the plunger down, you're going to set the extractor in, and then you're going to release the plunger. And what that's going to do That's going to lock everything in place. Now be careful when you're muddling around here, because if you touch that plunger, it's going to blow apart again and you're going to start over. So what we can do now is we can drop our extractor spring in. Okay. We can drop our firing pin in. Indeed. Okay. And now the second most pain in the tail is getting your back cap back on, because you got to get this thing depressed again. Again, don't jack this thing on because it's not going, because you're just going to mess up your gun. So use your pin tool. Same way we took it off, we're going to put it back on. We're going to push down on this sleeve. That's going to allow us to get it part way on, and then we're going to have to kind of jimmy around and make things happen. But let's see if we can't. Let's see if we can't do something here. Maybe I can get this started with my hand. That would be just great. See, what I do is I push that down. Got it halfway started, but you can see that the extractor pin, the extractor rod, is still in the way. So we're gonna have to manipulate that a little bit. Kinda got it. There we go. So you're going to notice you're going to push it up and then it's going to stop, but there's still a bit of a gap there. So once you get that on there, you're going to have to give it a little push. You heard that snap? Now you're engaged. Now you're good to go. And also, because this is an external moving metal on metal part, we want to put some lubricant on this barrel as well. You don't have to soak it, 2 or 3 drops and spread it around. If you buy any gun new, and it's just got the factory lube on there, get the factory lube off and get on some decent lubricant, because it will jam up. I've seen it happen on multiple occasions. Firsthand at the range, I've seen new guns lock up, and then you have 2 guys over there cranking on the slide trying to break it loose. So just do yourself a favor before you go shoot it. Get the factory lube off. Get some good lube on here, and you can go about your day without any problems. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop this baby in. Slide it forward, and then when you slide back, you're going to hear it drop in. Alright, and then we're going to take our guide spring. We're going to go ahead and slip that in. This obviously only goes one way. And get that pressed in. Make sure everything's seated properly. Now, if we had done the whole gun, well, we'll put a couple drops of lube on anyway. Let's say we did the whole thing. We want to do like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. That's all you need. Glocks do not like to get soaked in lube. You need a very, very little bit. Go ahead. And there you have it. Alright, so we successfully deassembled, lubed, and reassembled the upper to the Glock 19 Gen 5. Thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned for the lower. And remember, anything worth doing is worth your sweat and sacrifice. We'll see you next time.